So we just finished watching the first episode of Star Trek Picard Remembrance, and I think the question that was drawing us in quite a bit was whether or not Picard's Starfleet, the one that he knew, is broken, Cam. Just with regards to their ability to reach out and pursue those values that they've always held sacred. It seems as if he was alluding to the fact that they're looking inward now.
Right. And it seemed like a lot of the time that the Federation was held up as this great beacon of light in some of the past series, and I'm very interested to see this, older Picard series really, it seems, tackling the idea of Starfleet again, and Starfleet isn't necessarily the perfect ideal that it was often on TNG.
And very specifically, though, this is in reference to Romulus going supernova or the Romulan star going supernova, and whether Starfleet is willing to help relocate, 900 million lives. They did it to a certain degree, but they found that there were negative consequences if, their defenses are down and rogue synths can attack. So I do understand both sides of the argument here, but look, we are following the journey of Picard in this situation.
Yeah, and so we really don't know right now, but how much of this series could be kind of Picard repairing this relationship with Starfleet and kind of giving us more of a restoration of the ideal of what Starfleet was?
Is it up to him to kind of revive that amongst other commanders, other captains, the admirals, the admirals that have a long history of being jerks, no matter what era of Star Trek?
I mean, I would love to say no. Like, there should be a lot of great new people coming up through the ranks of Starfleet over the last several decades. But ultimately, isn't Picard kind of like our new inheritor of, like, the Spock throne? Like, he is very much the beacon of which represents the great optimism of Star Trek, so he is the perfect character to do that for Starfleet.
But the thing that I would hate most is if at the end of season 1, they're like, now you're in charge of Starfleet. I think he's gone beyond that in his journey here. I think he needs to be kind of the civilian, the one on the outside. Because you know what they say is, like, you can change a lot more by being on the outside of an organization, such as government, than being on the inside of government, by pushing forward with, protests, your ideals, your values there.
And we've also seen many a times where there was issues with, as you said, like lousy admirals, gone rogue or something like that, where Picard would overcome the situation and smooth it all out, and it was like, okay, guys, we're back to where we were now. Do we need to see him keep doing that on, like, grander scales?
Well, I don't think so. And I think what we'll get is something, like he's going to look to Starfleet for some more help with this ongoing Daj/Dr. Asher sort of deal. He's probably not going to get it, and so he's going to be doing his own kind of ragtag thing. I also wonder if he irks Starfleet by doing this, and maybe they're chasing him down to a certain degree. That's going to be interesting to him. Just because something is illegal or legal doesn't mean that it's moral. Look at slavery. Slavery was once legal.
Right.
Never made it moral. So I think if he has moral high grounds, throughout season 1, that's going to be interesting if he's a man on the lam.
Does it also kind of expose, though, this episode, like, cracks in the Roddenberry idea of Starfleet being kind of perfect? Is that compelling? Because we've seen a lot of the time what makes Star Trek compelling, especially like Deep Space Nine, is questioning the foundations of Starfleet and exposing the issues that are very human, and that, humans aren't perfect, despite what was often the case on TNG especially. And, is that an issue with Starfleet? Like, for compelling drama going forward through through the future of Star Trek, that Starfleet, we've got to keep going back and questioning what's going on.
Well, you know what they say about synthetics, Cam? They're a fake.